fairy on the mountain warmly greets everyone. In the past, there was a bold saying, "I would rather betray the world than let the world betray me." The person who said this, Chow Chow, dared to do so because he had the capability to control the world. Strong individuals often create their own unique survival rules. So, how can we become strong like Chow Chow? Today, I will analyze the survival principles of strong individuals based on 3 key aspects. No reasoning, no blending in, and no participating. 1. No reasoning. Not reasoning doesn't mean being unreasonable or causing trouble. Instead, it reminds us that this world isn't a place where reasoning prevails. Whether in family, work, or facing superiors, weaker individuals, or injustices, resolving issues based purely on logic is often unrealistic. Take family life as an example. Many people are accustomed to debating logic and reason with their spouse at home, as they do outside. But a family doesn't need cold logic. It needs warm love. A man who always insists on arguing with his wife shows he no longer loves her. When you bombard your partner with logical arguments, they will only feel more disappointed and lonely. Therefore, no matter how successful you are outside, when you come home, take off the mask of reason and show more tolerance and care for your family. In work and business, logic and reasoning are not the ultimate goals, benefits are. As the saying goes, people hustle for benefits, and conflicts arise because of benefits. As long as you clarify the benefits, people will agree and support you. On the contrary, even if you are correct, you may find yourself isolated. The best way to communicate at work is to put yourself in the shoes of your colleagues and clients, helping them achieve their interests. Only then can you gain respect and establish a solid position. When dealing with superiors, reasoning is even less appropriate. The most important thing in this situation is respect and humility. No matter how right you are, always show respect. The stronger your arguments, the more likely you are to be labeled as disrespectful or lacking manners. If your superior is a strong personality, patience and deference are even more necessary. Only by doing so can you avoid animosity and quietly build your strength. When dealing with subordinates or younger generations, excessive reasoning is also unnecessary. As Han Xian once said, delegate tasks based on people's strengths. A good leader knows how to utilize the strengths of each individual, placing them in suitable roles instead of criticizing their weaknesses. Leadership kindness is reflected in providing opportunities and flexible space for growth and creativity rather than demanding rigid clarity in everything. When subordinates feel trusted and respected, they will willingly follow you. Conversely, if you constantly reason with them, they will feel you lack empathy and eventually leave you. When facing conflicts, reasoning alone cannot resolve issues. For instance, if you argue or even fight with someone, regardless of being right, you may still face legal consequences. In such cases, the law doesn't prioritize who is right but evaluates the severity of actions. If you cause injury, you bear legal responsibility. Instead of arguing, think of using legal tools to protect your rights. Similarly, when faced with injustice, learn to leverage the law rather than merely complaining. Recent incidents involving road rage illustrate this well. Many drivers, unable to control themselves, ended up in altercations, causing injuries. These actions were recorded and shared online, resulting in offenders facing severe penalties. This shows that instead of protesting and arguing, learning to protect your rights is the key to surviving in this world and securing your place in society. Of course, no reasoning doesn't mean acting irrationally or recklessly. As Liu Buwei once said, everything should have its limits. Going too far is never good. While we reject being bound by reasoning, we still need to adhere to basic principles of right and wrong, knowing when to stop. That is the wisdom and clarity of a strong person. 2. No blending in. The phrase no blending in may seem negative, as if it implies isolation, eccentricity, or lack of cooperation. However, when you observe truly successful people, you'll notice that they often stand out and don't blindly follow the crowd. They avoid meaningless social interactions and focus on what truly matters. Take social events like parties, for example. These occasions seem like opportunities to expand relationships, showcase oneself, or seek opportunities. But think about it, How many people you meet at these events genuinely understand or are willing to help you? Likely very few. Most of these gatherings are just formalities, consuming time and money without delivering significant value. Some people, out of fear of loneliness or rejection, force themselves to integrate into superficial relationships, even if it means losing their identity. They blindly follow trends or stay in meaningless social circles, losing sight of their true desires. In contrast, strong individuals never waste time on futile relationships. They are willing to live solitary lives, focusing on studying their interests, improving their knowledge and skills. Through this process, they gain a sense of achievement and fulfillment that those caught up in social activities rarely experience. Never being able to reach it, as philosopher Nietzsche once said, all truly great thoughts are conceived while walking alone. All truly profound souls are forged in silence and reflection. Of course, being unapproachable or not blending in doesn't mean you must always be lonely, avoiding communication or caring for others. On the contrary, strong individuals, despite their independence and apparent differences, are often very skilled at building high-quality relationships. They don't value shallow connections but instead cherish those who truly understand and empathize with them. To them, social interaction is never the goal but merely a tool for achieving greater objectives. They don't pursue popularity or attempt to win others' favor for the sake of reputation but are willing to put effort into gaining the support of like-minded individuals. Only when they are surrounded by the most elite can they continue to grow. Their unwillingness to easily merge into the crowd and readiness to choose their own path are essentially expressions of courage and confidence. People who constantly follow the crowd or compare themselves to others often crave security and don't believe they deserve a better life. In contrast, strong individuals who dare to be different and live their own way can calmly face everything. Through long-term cultivation of independence, they have built a solid inner world. They believe that as long as they excel, they will naturally attract those who understand them the most and create a world that belongs to them alone. As the saying goes, with sincerity, you can move others, and righteousness will come naturally. When you possess a unique soul and are ready to walk alone on your path, you will eventually meet those who truly appreciate you. Thus, mockery for not blending in is something you don't need to pay attention to. It's merely their discomfort with your difference and prominence. Truly strong people don't need to forcibly integrate. They just need to live authentically and wait for time to provide the perfect answer. Lastly, let's discuss the third factor in cultivating strength. Not participating or stepping into the vortex. Laozi once said, "Because I do not compete, no one in the world can compete with me." The gambling tycoon Stanley Ho also once bluntly shared, "Not gambling is the true victory." This legend in the business world, though successful with his casino-related career, never gambled himself and didn't allow his family to either. This demonstrates that not following the crowd or easily being drawn into disputes is a manifestation of great wisdom. In life, we often encounter criticism or malicious doubts. Many people, when faced with such situations, instinctively respond by explaining, arguing, or trying to prove their innocence. However, they don't realize that this approach not only fails to dispel the rumors, but also makes them appear weaker and more exhausted. As the old saying goes, if you want to accuse someone, you'll always find a reason. When someone deliberately tries to tarnish you, no matter how you explain, you can't change their intent. Their doubts are merely bait to drag you into their argumentative trap, forcing you into unnecessary explanations. Once you start explaining, no matter what you say, you can't escape the verbal trap they've set. The more eager you are to prove yourself, the more relentless they'll be until you're cornered with nothing left to say. Therefore, when facing malicious doubts, the smartest approach is not to play their game. Don't explain or respond. As the saying goes, those who understand you don't need you to explain. Those who don't will find explanations futile. Instead of wasting words, use silence and action to address rumors. Let the results speak for themselves. As long as you have a clear conscience, keep moving forward with determination. Time will vindicate you. As another saying goes, clear water clears itself. Murky water clouds itself. The more you justify yourself, the more you give critics ammunition to attack. Only by refusing to engage in their game can you protect yourself fully. Defeat or concession from others has never been the focus for the strong-minded. They understand that striving to win or lose is not the hallmark of the wise. True strength does not lie in competing with others but in making oneself better. Instead of engaging in intense confrontations, persistently move forward and surpass your own limitations. Rather than nitpicking every little thing, embrace generosity and forgiveness, leaving room for mutual retreat. Instead of calculating wins and losses, face everything calmly and focus on self-development. Only by avoiding meaningless conflicts can you gain lasting respect. In conclusion, choosing not to argue, not to conform to the crowd, and not to engage in trivial games may seem negative at first glance, but it is actually a sign of high emotional and intellectual maturity. In a world full of noise and vanity, those who are not tempted by appearances or swayed by grandeur are the truly strong. They remain independent and composed, advancing steadily on their chosen path. Perhaps this path is destined to be lonely, but as Nietzsche said, better to live alone as oneself than to merge with the masses and become one among countless mediocrities. Only those who dare to stand apart and choose their own path can reach their unique world and achieve an incomparable sense of self. While not all of us are geniuses like Cao Cao, mastering the principles of the strong, with attitudes of not arguing, not conforming, and not engaging in pointless struggles, ensures we will find the most fitting place for ourselves, leading peaceful and contented lives. As the saying goes, go where others dare not go, do what others dare not do. This is not just the courage of the strong but a wisdom worth learning for everyone. In this flashy and noisy world, everyone seeks their life's purpose and peace of mind. However, on this journey, we often lose ourselves, entangled in trivial matters and outside voices, unable to hear our inner desires or walk the path we wish to take. At such times, reflect on the three principles of the strong: not arguing, not conforming to the crowd, and not engaging in meaningless games. Initially, these words may sound negative or counterintuitive, but upon deeper understanding, they represent wisdom and emotional depth. For example, not arguing does not mean being unreasonable or stubborn, but rather reminds us that arguing is not always the best solution. Whether in family life or the workplace, not every situation calls for debating or nitpicking. Take marriage, for instance. Between husband and wife, there is no absolute right or wrong. Families thrive on love and forgiveness, not endless arguments. Often, the more one tries to reason, the colder the relationship becomes. Thus, when at home, set aside arguments and calculations, and instead, foster patience and warmth to build a happy family. Finally, avoiding meaningless games teaches us to maintain a calm demeanor in the face of life's complexities and relationships. Right and wrong are rarely absolute, and success or failure is never fixed. Rather than wasting time and emotions on futile disputes, create a tranquil space to pursue meaningful endeavors. When others criticize or gossip about you, the best response is indifference. The more you counter, the more disadvantageous your position becomes. Truth resides in the hearts of people. There is no need to argue everywhere to prove it. Learn to stay out of unnecessary drama, shield yourself from negative emotions, and face life's storms with a serene heart. Kindness and integrity are fundamental principles of humanity. In confronting others' suffering, we should extend a helping hand with warmth and hope. Yet, that kindness should stem from the heart, not from fulfilling others' expectations. That integrity must be a call from within, not pressure from external circumstances. Only by resisting external distractions and freeing ourselves from the burden of vanity can we live steadfastly and peacefully, enjoying inner abundance. Life revolves around choices and sacrifices. Choosing simplicity or determination, flowing with the current or swimming against it, bowing to reality or striving toward a dream. These seemingly minor choices often define a person's entire life. The strong are not just exceptional in talent but also resolute and unyielding in spirit. Choosing not to argue, not to conform, and not to engage in meaningless disputes may appear passive, but it is, in essence, an expression of positivity. It may seem weak at first glance, but in reality, it reflects inner strength. Only with such a mindset can we maintain our integrity amidst life's complexities and steadfastly navigate the long river of life. We should all learn from the strong, cultivating our minds and broadening our vision. Use the calmness of not arguing to face controversy, the courage of not conforming to discover oneself, and the wisdom of not engaging to resolve conflicts. Over time, we will understand and gain clarity, leading a life without regrets. As the saying goes, great wisdom often appears simple. Profound truths often seem naive. Understanding the survival philosophy of the strong will also help us grasp the truths of life. Ignoring gossip, disregarding the world's noise, and keeping our souls as clear and tranquil as a pure stream. Face life with the heart of the strong. Tackle challenges with serenity and composure. In doing so, you become the brightest character in your own story and a truly admirable person. May we all possess the hearts of the strong, living meaningful lives without regrets. In the complexities of life, while we may not control our circumstances, we can certainly manage our emotions. Cultivate a compassionate heart with love and perseverance to excel and succeed in the most deserving way. That is the truth of life and the ultimate wisdom.